Salutations, statistic supporters. This is a Stats MR, returning with another presentation to sleep through. Today, I will give a presentation related to NHL playoff stats and fun facts. However, I'll alter the normal order of the presentation to discuss the stats first and the fun facts second. Okay, so let's get into the stats. Okay, so I received a request related to the NHL season, and since the season just concluded, statistics I compiled, and as always I'll leave a link in the description to where I found them. Now, similar to the NBA video I did a few days ago, I went back to 2001, 2002. Now, if you see 95-96 season, that's because I'm comparing the Boston Bruins of 2022-2023 to the Tampa Bay Lightning of 2018-2019 and the Detroit Red Wings of 1995-1996. This is because the Boston Bruins set the record for the most points in the season, a mark that was previously held by the 95-96 Detroit Red Wings and the 2018-2019 Tampa Bay Lightning. So that's why you see the 95-96 season included alongside the other previous 20 seasons. Another note, if you see NAs for the 2004-2005 season, that's because that season did not take place. There was a lockout, so no games were played. Okay, so now let's get into the statistics. So, column B is the Stanley Cup champion. Column C is the power play goal leader. Column D is the power play opportunities leader. Now, I don't know how many of the viewers are aware of hockey, but in hockey, if one team commits a penalty, they lose a man for a certain period of time. Usually it's 2 minutes. It can be more if it's an egregious penalty, but so if the team that loses a man goes on the penalty kill, and the team that keeps 5 men and goes against the other team with just 4 men is on the power play. So that's kind of a short description of these columns. So then you have the penalty kill percentage leader. So who prevents the other team from scoring on the power play the most? Then you get save percentage, that's saves by the goalie. The goals for per game leader. The goals against per game leader. The points leader, so that's who had the most points. And in hockey, a win is 2 points, and an overtime loss is 1 point. Then you have the conference plays, the champion place in the conference. So the team that won the Stanley Cup, where did they finish in the conference in the regular season? Then we have the championship, the champion conference, which conference the champion came from. The leading point percentage in regulation time only. So I think around 2000, prior to 2000, I don't know if it's exactly 2000, but it was around the year 2000. Games could end in a tie, and if they ended in a tie, then each team received 1 point. After around 2000, the NHL switched the rules to where if a game was still tied after an overtime period, they went to a shootout to determine the winner. Now, if a team won the shootout, they received 2 points. However, the team lost the shootout, then they still received 1 point. This only looks at points in regulation time. Then it looks at the rankings based upon regulation time. So the Stanley Cup champion, where do they rank in terms of points in regulation time? This is the team that had the most goals scored. This is the team that allowed the fewest goals. This is goal differential, so how many goals a team scored versus how many they allowed, the difference. This is the face-off winning percentage and the champion rank in face-off winning percentage. So a face-off at the start of a period, or like say at the start of a power play, or if a puck goes out of the ice, there'll be a face-off. And generally teams want to have a good face-off percentage because that'll allow them to control the puck, set up a shot easier than if they lose the shot and then the other team controls the puck. And then we have the MVP winner. Okay, so those are the statistics I compiled. Now the color coding. So if a team won the Stanley Cup in column B, the categories that they led in, I color-coded green. So for example, the 2001-2002 Red Wings, they led the league in power play goals scored. They led the league in points. They led the league in regulation time points and in goal differential. So those are all color-coded green. If a team won the Stanley Cup, so for example to the 2005-2006 Hurricanes, but they did not lead the league in any of the statistics I listed above in columns C through A, or they didn't have an MVP in column S, then I color-coded them red. Okay. And the column A with light blue, those are the years where a team set the record for the most points at the time. Okay. Now, for some statistics, some interesting statistics. So, this year, the Ottawa Senators had the most power play opportunities. The previous 5 years, the Avalanche had the most power play opportunities. Another interesting fact, either the Bruins or the Oilers led the league in all the statistical categories that I've listed above, with the exception of the power play opportunities. So that's the one which was the most concentrated in terms of teams leading the league in all the different categories. Now, an interesting fact. So, in the past 20 years, the teams in 11 out of the 20 years that a season occurred led the league in at least one category. In 9 of the years, they didn't lead the league in any of the categories I listed above. And to show some of the charts I have listed below, this shows the number of championship titles, or the Stanley Cup titles by team. So, and again, this is the last 20 years. So, again, 3 teams have 3: the Blackhawks, the Penguins, and the Lightning. 2 have 2: the Red Wings and the Kings. And then the Ducks, the Bruins, the Hurricanes, the Avalanche, the Devils, the Blues, and the Capitals have 1. In terms of champion by conference, so in the last 20 years, there have been 10 apiece. Now, one important factor to consider: the Red Wings used to be in the Western Conference, so the 2 titles by Detroit are included in the Western Conference total. this graph here goes into the number of titles by finish in the conference. So, as you see, 75% of the titles in the last 20 years have been from a team that finished either first, second, or fourth in their conference. And actually, all the finishes have earned at least one Stanley Cup, with the exception of the 7th place team. No team finishing 7th in their conference has won a Stanley Cup in the last 20 years. So, if we go with that, a 75% chance of winning, by either the first, second, or fourth place team. This is the finish in the regular season. So you have the Vegas Golden Knights, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Dallas Stars. We got the Bruins, the Hurricanes, and the Maple Leafs. Now, when I look at the leaders, in the last 20 years, only one team has won the face-off percentage and won the Stanley Cup, and that was the Red Wings of 2007, 2008. So, if the Stars are going to win it, they'd be only the second team in the last 20 plus years to do that, with leading the face-off percentage. Now, another interesting comparison. So when I compare the Bruins to the Lightning of 18-19 and the Red Wings of 95-96. So, interestingly enough, the other two teams, like say the 95-96 Red Wings and the 2018-2019 Lightning, they set the record for points, but then did not win the Stanley Cup. And the two teams that did win the Stanley Cup did not lead the league in any of the statistical categories I've listed. Now, I looked for similarities between the three teams. Now, the only category that the Bruins of 2022-2023 led in, that neither the Lightning of 18-19 or the Red Wings of 95-96 did not lead, was save percentage. The Bruins led the league in save percentage. Now, the Lightning were third in 2018-2019, and the Red Wings was second in 95-96. So, that could be a bonus to the Bruins, based upon past patterns to see who's most likely to win. So if we say, okay, the Bruins won't win, we have to go to a team that didn't lead the league in anything, then it would look like it would be either the Avalanche or the Hurricanes. But again, it's speculation upon my part, putting past patterns to the current season. I say, and again, it could be that the Bruins' save percentage is so, differentiates themselves from the previous two teams that set the record. When I looked it up, so the 95-96 Red Wings, they lost in the Western Conference Finals to the Colorado Avalanche, and Patrick Waugh was the goalie. And the 2018-2019 Lightning, they lost in the first round. I think they were swept, actually, by the Columbus Blue Jackets. So, in the Lightning were the only two teams to be repeat champions. There were a couple of teams that won it Okay, so now for the fun facts. And again, I'll leave a link in the description to where I found these. Now, one interesting, or one point to note is that this is from 2017, so these are somewhat dated. But anyway, fun fact number one. The Stanley Cup is named after Lawrence Stanley of Preston, the 1982 Governor-General of Canada. He purchased the decorative cup in London for 10 guineas, around $50 at the time. Stanley donated the cup to award Canada's top amateur hockey club after he and his family became infatuated with the sport at Montreal's 1889 Winter Carnival. It was first awarded to the Montreal Amateur Athletic Association, or MA, in 1893. Fun fact number two. Stanley's original cup from 1892, known as the Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup above, was awarded until 1970 and is now on display in the vault room at the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. In 1963, the NHL president Clarence Campbell believed that the original cup had become too brittle to give to championship teams, so the presentation cup was created and is the well-known trophy awarded today. The final cup is a replica of the presentation cup, which was created in 1993 by the Montreal silversmith Louis Saint-Jacques and is used as a stand-in at the Hall of Fame when the presentation cup isn't available. Fun fact number three. Unlike other major league sport trophies, a new cup isn't made every year. Instead, after each championship, the names of the players, coaches, management, and staff of the winning team are added to the cup. The first team to have its roster engraved was the 1906-07 Montreal Wanderers, whose names were etched within the inner bowl of the Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup. The only other team names engraved on the inner bowl are the 1914 to 1915 Vancouver Millionaires. Fun fact number four. More and more teams wanted to be immortalized, so a decision was made to put a separate single ring below the original cup, that each new winning roster could be etched on it. Between 1927 and 1947, a new, more streamlined and vertical incarnation of the cup was used. Thanks to its cylindrical shape, it was nicknamed the Stovepipe Cup. But by 1948, the trophy had become too tall to hold or put on display, so the shape was changed to the tiered version used today. Fun fact number five. Since 1958, 5 bands of championship teams are engraved around the base of the cup. When the rings become full, the oldest band is removed and preserved in Lord Stanley's vault at the Great S.O. Hall in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. A blank replacement band is then put in its place to be filled with the names of the next champions. No championship team names from the 1928-1929 to the 1964-1965 season are currently on the cup. In its history, there have been only 4 official engravers sanctioned by the NHL. The first was the 1948 Stanley Cup designer Carl Bredesen, a Danish engraver who was moved to Montreal in 1929, worked with the sons Arno, Ole, and Jean-Paul in his engraving shop until his death in 1977. The current engraver is Louis Saint-Jacques, creator of the replica of the presentation club, who took over from the second and third official engravers, Doug Bouvet and his son Eric Bouvet, at their shop, Bouvet Silversmiths in Montreal in 1989. And I apologize to if I butchered the names there. France, French is not great. Fun fact number 7. Many championship player and teams are misspelled on the Stanley Cup. The name of the 1980-1981 New York Islanders is misspelled Islanders. And the 1971-1972 Boston Bruins name is misspelled as Buxton Bruins. Most of the errors are left as they are. It would be too costly to fix the mistakes, but fans believe the errors add to the idiosyncratic nature of the cup. Corrections have been made, though, when the 1996 champion Colorado Avalanche, Adam Denmarsh's name was spelled Denmarch. On the cup, it was stamped out and corrected after he publicly stated how heartbroken he was about the error. Fun fact number 8. The NHL will allow no more than 52 names from each year's winning team to be engraved, with the assumption that the people included are affiliated with or have played on that club during the Stanley Cup finals. But Peter Pocklington, the former Edmonton Oilers owner, perhaps best known for trading away the great one himself, Wayne Gretzky, included his father, Basil, on the list of names to go along with the 1983-1984 champion Oilers, despite the fact his father wasn't officially affiliated with the team. Once found out, the league had the engraver strike out Basil's name with a series of capital X's. Fun fact number 9. When the Detroit Red Wings won the Stanley Cup in 1998, the team asked that Vladimir Konstantinov's name be engraved on the cup, even though he didn't play that year. The NHL allowed it because Konstantinov was a team member who was seriously injured in a car accident before the Red Wings defended the title. There were also a couple of instances where no names were inscribed at all, like when the cup wasn't awarded in 1919 due to the influenza pandemic. It also wasn't awarded in 04-05 because of the lockout between the league and the Players Union. The entire space for the players' names reads season not played. Fun fact number 10. Henri Richard, brother of Montreal Canadiens legend Maurice Rocket Richard, had a hockey great in his own right. Is on the cup a record 11 times as a player, while Scotty Bowman appears on the cup the most for a coach with 9 Stanley Cup titles as a skipper between the Red Wings, Penguins, and Canadiens. With 24 victories, the Canadiens have taken home the Stanley Cup more than any other team, though the last win, unfortunately for Habs fans, was back in 1993. Montreal also holds the record for the most consecutive Cup wins, with 5 in a row from 1956 to 1960. Fun fact number 11. Montreal fans are so possessive of the Cup that during the 1962 playoffs, when the Cup was on display at the Chicago Stadium for the defending champion Blackhawks, the name was compressed to a singular word. In 1986, the Habs fans, Ken Gillanda, attempted to take the cup and walk right out the door with it. When a police officer caught and questioned him, Gillanda responded, "I want to take it back to where it belongs, to Montreal." Fun fact number 12. 17 women have their names inscribed on the cup. The first was Marguerite Norris, who was the president of the Detroit Red Wings for their 1954 and 1955 season victory. Sonia Scurfield was the co-owner of the 1988-89 champion Calgary Flames. Fun fact number 13. Various players are wary of the cup if they haven't won it yet, and steer clear if they're still in contention. In fact, some players on the conference champion teams won't even touch the respective Western Conference Campbell Bowl or Eastern Conference Prince of Wales trophy, so they don't jinx the team's chances at the real prize. Fun fact number 14. The Stanley Cup is always accompanied by at least one representative of the Hockey Hall of Fame, dubbed the Keeper of the Cup, the current keeper. And again, this is as of 2017, was Philip Pritchard. Has held the position since 1991 and even maintains a Twitter account to update followers of where the cup goes from day to day. Way back when the cup was donated, Lord Stanley mandated that 2 trustees must always be appointed to care for the cup and ensure it was kept in proper condition. The 2 current trustees are Brian O'Neill and Ian Scotty Morrison. And according to the Hockey Hall of Fame, they have absolute power over all matters regarding the Stanley Cup. Fun fact number 15, the NHL allows each championship team 100 off-season days with the cup, accompanied by the keeper, of course, to do with it as they wish. It was in 1994-95 New Jersey Devils who formalized the tradition of giving each player one personal day with the cup during the off-season. In fact, since the 2003 season, the Hockey Hall of Fame has been keeping journals of the cup's travels with each winning team. Though some players use the day with the trophy for peaceful reflection, others have gone a bit crazy with the Lord's Stanley Cup. Fun fact number 16, following the 1991 victory over the Minnesota North Stars, Pittsburgh Penguins legend Mario Lemieux hosted the team at his house. When Lemieux wasn't looking, Penguins winger Phil Bourque decided he wanted to see if the Stanley Cup would float and threw the trophy into the captain's in-ground pool. It didn't float and immediately sank to the bottom. 2 years later, the cup also found the bottom of the Montreal Canadiens goaltender Patrick Roy's pool. But in 2002, when the Red Wings goaltender Dominik Hasek attempted to swim the cup, the keeper had enough. He demanded, and the keeper, this is the Stanley Cup keeper, demanded Hasek dry off the trophy and give it back, thus cutting short his allotted personal day. Fun fact number 17, when the Ottawa Hockey Club, now known as the Ottawa Senators, won the cup in 1905, the members of the Silver Seven had a little too much fun celebrating the victory. After the team banquet, some not-so-sober players brought the trophy outside and allegedly decided to test the accuracy by trying to kick the then small cup into the Ottawa's Rideau Canal. And I believe the Rideau Canal during the wintertime is the world's largest outdoor skating rink, or it used to be. Anyway, once successful, they went on their drunken way and forgot all about it until the teammates realized the next day that the trophy was missing. The Stanley Cup was retrieved and given to the player named Harry Smith, the most responsible man on the team for safekeeping. Fun fact number 18, when the members of the 1924 champion Canadiens got a flat tire on the way to the team's victory banquet at owner Leo Dunduran's house, they had to remove the cup from the trunk of the car to get a spare tire. The players, eager to celebrate the win, quickly changed the tire and made their way to the party. When the traditional time came for each player to drink champagne from the silver bowl, the cup was nowhere to be found. The players had left it on the side of the road. They hopped in the car, sped back to the place where they had changed the flat, and found the cup in a snowbank, right where they had left it. But that wasn't the first time the Montreal team had forgotten the cup. The 1907 Montreal Wanderers left the cup at the home of a team photographer. The photographer's mother used the cup as a flower pot until the team came back to retrieve it. Fun fact number 19, after the Colorado Avalanche won the 95-96 championship, defenseman Sylvain Lefebvre used his personal day with the cup to have his daughter christened in the top bowl. 11 years later, after the Detroit Red Wings won the 07-08 Cup, Swedish left winger Thomas Holmstrom brought the silverware back to his native country so that his cousin could baptize his 7-week-old daughter in the trophy. And in 2017, the Pittsburgh Penguins for John Archibald gave his infant son the same treatment. Fun fact number 20, the Edmonton Oilers were forced to be reckoned with in the 1980s. Between 84 and 90, the team won 5 Stanley Cups and were led by 2 hockey greats, Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier. Legend has it that after the 86-87 win, Messier brought the cup to an Edmonton club called the Foramen and set the trophy on the main stage. One of the dancers at the club then reportedly incorporated the cup into a risque routine. When he won the Stanley Cup in 1994 with the New York Rangers, Messier and his teammates brought the cup to another club, Scores in Manhattan. Fun fact number 21. When Messier and the Rangers won in 94, it ended a 54-year championship drought. Broadway Blue Shirts. The team hadn't won since the 39-40 season. Fans believed that the curse might have been brought on because the Rangers disrespected the Cup. During the 39-40 season, the mortgage on the Rangers' home rink, and at the time the third incarnation of the Masquerade God was finally paid off. To celebrate, the management of the team symbolically burned the mortgage documents in the bowl of the Cup. Then left winger Lynn Patrick and his teammates allegedly urinated on the Cup's bowl to celebrate the victory. The Rangers finally took home the trophy again in '94, but they haven't won the hockey's ultimate prize since. Fun fact number 22, it's been all over the world, from Russia to the Czech Republic to Sweden, but in 2007 the Stanley Cup went to war to boost morale for the Canadian American troops serving in the Middle East. The Cup was flown into an active war zone in Camp Nathan Smith in Kandahar, Afghanistan, for a meet and greet. Okay, so that's the list of the fun facts. And again, this is a StatsMar, hoping that your efforts have a positive correlation with results. So long.